Headlines 93.3 Talk Radio Warchant TV begins right now. Good to be with you, everybody. There's Ira. There's Corey. We are ready to roll, fresh off another ass kicking. There we go. What a fun way to make a living, guys.
Yeah.
Get to talk about this team just like kind of going through the motions at times, killing people. It's beautiful to watch. Before we do all that, we have to say, of course, yay, sausage, which is another reason it's good to be us. That kind of a sponsorship. Who isn't excited to get up and go to work every day, guys?
It's been a big few weeks for Register Sausage.
Really big.
First of all, they had it on offering at the Hotel Indigo.
Of course they
for the
did.
pregame show.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool. And then just talked to Ben the Sausage Guy before the show. Some big news. It's coming to the Costco in Tallahassee.
Good Lord. This thing is spreading like wildfire.
So it's not there yet. It's coming soon. They're going to be delivering it soon. They're working on some of the presentation stuff, but it'll be in Costco in Tallahassee
I
very
can't wait
soon.
to see how much you can get at Costco.
Oh,
Is
man.
it going to be like a sack of
it
potatoes?
already
bags?
comes in a
40
fairly
pounds.
large package,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden we're buying in bulk.
So
Good Lord.
that's coming to Costco here in the next few weeks. And if you live in an area that has a Costco, but not Tallahassee, talk to your meat manager.
Get
And
on 'em.
Oh, they have meat managers at Costco too?
Apparently,
Okay.
they're very receptive. So if the headliners are persuasive and make their case,
Yeah.
you could get it at your Costco as well. And there's other big news coming in the coming weeks, but it's been a big few weeks for registers. And it kind of dovetails perfectly with Florida State football.
It does indeed. By the way, the guys are bringing it in the chat early today. We have how long till pictures come out of Jimbo passed out in a hotel room with a pile of coke and prostitutes? Right off the bat. I like that.
Okay.
That's solid early. And then we have to know, will the game be moved?
Yeah, those the both.
Or moved up,
Yeah.
as in Friday or Thursday?
I think it's all so
Fluid?
early.
I don't think they could do it.
Nothing would
Thursday.
be-
That would seem almost too. I think you could do a Friday night game if it behooves you to
Probably
do
should
it.
just move it to Tallahassee.
Well, you could do
Call
that
it a
too.
day.
Remember, they
Call
did it
it- they did.
and just say, "Hey, we'll do the red bandana game 2 years in a row," and then by the time the second one comes around, you're out of the conference.
Well, it
anyway.
worked so well when you moved the Boise State game here.
Correct,
It's
yeah.
perfect.
Oh, yeah, that works great.
Think of all those disappointed Boston College fans, though.
But I
when
do
you get to go
think,
watch that game.
I don't think people have been asking all day. There's no decisions yet. I think they're going to wait for more information. I mean, theoretically, it could drift east and won't have to worry about it.
But they don't have the same off week, so they couldn't reschedule it,
Right.
Because BC's playing on September 30th. So yeah, it would either be, obviously play the game as is, and if they can't play it on Saturday and they won't move it, then you're just not going to play Boston College, right? There's no other way there's no other time to play them.
Well, I mean, yeah, like Jeff said, they can move it here. I mean, that's
They
happened
could,
before.
yeah. I remember you giving me all kinds of grief,
Yeah.
and then old Corey Clark came through again.
What was the grief about?
Well, I said, why don't they just move that Boise State game to Tallahassee?
yeah.
It seems like you could do that. And
I don't
miss the
remember him
Hurricane.
giving you grief.
The
Oh, yeah,
grief
yeah.
I gave him is it was one of those Corey things.
Yes. Why don't we just do it?
Where Corey just throws out an idea without
Willy-nilly.
considering that
Right.
there's more to it.
Or
than
maybe
just
my
showing up.
mind works at such a level, at such a
Right.
rate that I consider everything as I'm speaking.
I was thinking about something today.
It wasn't that.
What's amazing? This dawned on me this morning. It's amazing that this football team has won these games at night with
Mm.
those morning practices because the whole
Right.
body clock theory
Hey,
that
look,
seemed to
look,
have.
they
Remember
get- they
that
get-
when
yeah.
there's no way they could play football in the evenings because the body
code for
clock.
Corey doesn't like to get
That's
out.
why I
That's
can't
what that
wait
was.
to see these
But-
next two games, these
Yeah.
noon games.
Oh.
They're going to be prime.
Oh my God,
They're used to
it's
this.
just like practice.
Yeah, it's their
Imagine-
briar patch.
Imagine what they would have done to LSU.
Man, they would have put up 100
Right.
if they
Could
weren't
have.
tired.
Could have put up 100 against Southern Miss if they wanted. Actually,
So they're not all winners. Is all I'm saying.
Hey, I, when you have as many
Yeah,
theories
yeah.
as I do,
Yeah.
they're not
I
all
like
going to.
that you're not afraid to throw them out there.
Do what I
no
do.
matter
Yeah.
how ridiculous, you
I do
just
what I
throw
do.
them out there.
Yeah.
Some of them will hit, some of them won't. You just keep on.
I'm going to
peppering.
keep same
That's
thing
right.
with make
swing away.
the
Corey.
women's basketballs need to be the same size as the men's.
Swing away.
By the way, speaking of swinging away, I told Ira today that I was proud of you yesterday. I don't watch your show all the time, but I tune
no,
in.
I don't know if you've ever seen.
He
it.
didn't. He really didn't even know it was still on.
No, I did, and I
You had
and
to
I
tell him?
I reminded him.
Yeah, it's
and
done.
I did fast forward after I listened to the opening. I fast forwarded to you having Ira
It
on.
was a great segment.
Good segment.
Lengthy.
Great picture.
Yeah.
You've
Oh, yeah,
gone back
yeah.
to the old school picture,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I love.
We've never gone back to
We
it. That's never
moved
changed.
away. It's never
Oh,
changed.
well,
I
The
mean,
same
I
way.
like that you're doing it.
I told Tom I'm going to send him my high school
You
graduation.
might as
picture.
well, or just send a baby pic at this point. But I like that you knew how crazy it would be to come out and just be negative about a 66-13
Well,
win.
I said it the way I planned
That's
to say
exactly
it.
what I thought, because I feel like that was a good moment for you to be like, well, there was a lot of stuff I didn't like, But heavens to Betsy, they just beat a team 66
But Corey,
to 13.
you don't understand. That's why people love the Jeff Cameron show.
Because you call
it's measured, baby. It's measured.
It's measured. That's right.
First of all, I will tell you exactly what I'm thinking, but I also recognize with my old age that, you should just say things out loud as you think them, like when you're prepping.
Right.
And then you kind of go, all right, look, I have 9 things here that I don't like. I've got 15 that I do.
Right.
So
lead with the 15.
No, I should acknowledge that if you beat anybody 66 to 13 or whatever the hell, then obviously it's a good day at the office. But what I have said all along is that if once you aspire to championships, it's grading on a completely different curve, which is fun, which is actually fun.
What a leap. What a leap.
But you first have to acknowledge that it is a very different way of looking at a 66 to 13 win. And so that's how I kind of set it up.
But that's what's weird about, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday during my appearance on his show.
Yeah.
Was that
you use the word hyperdrive, I think.
it is. I mean, that's the weird thing about this whole thing is
to ratchet it up that
if
much.
you think back to when Jimbo came in and it was kind of gradual. And like that 2012 season, they won 12 games. I think they went 12-2, 11-2, something like that. 12-2. And so, you kind of had to enjoy that. You couldn't really just rip them. I mean, I did rip them when they lost to Florida.
And NC State.
And NC State.
Yeah.
Well, the NC State one, you should still be ripping them.
Every day. You should try to call them.
But that was also, it was like a gradual process. This thing has gone from a year ago, literally a year ago. We didn't know if Mike Norvell was going to make it out of the season.
Well, and I believe that this is unprecedented in the sense that we live in an era that's very different. You can do that. You can revamp your team. See Colorado.
Quickly.
You can revamp your team in 1 year. In 1 year, you can completely change who you are. Now, he hasn't done that. It's been gradual to an extent.
Well, and Dion got the advantage of unlimited this year. That it won't be unlimited moving forward, right? But he brought in 60 new players or whatever. That won't be you can't keep doing that, right?
No, it was a
COVID
There's
thing?
Questions. Some people wonder if they're going to go back or not, but
they should. I mean, 60 is crazy. But the point remains.
That you can do that. And so Mike did a great job of figuring out which guys would work while elevating the floor, how to make them mesh into a locker room that was getting along and beginning to buy in. It was a balancing act. That's really what I praise him for. I've always thought he was a good play caller. That's a given. We've said that before. But I think watching a guy kind of move the chess pieces in a way that allows you to have a locker room full of guys that work hard for each other, take over control of the team in a positive way, because all coaches want their players they want it to be a player-controlled thing. And it's hard to do that when you're mixing and matching between high school recruiting and transfer portal guys, because you have to bring in certain cases, guys that you're going to start over those 2 dudes that you just asked to buy in for the last 2 years. But he's done that, and that's remarkable to me. Now they've elevated the skill level to Ira's point to where you're like, you have to ask yourself, am I being ridiculous when I project them to go and play for the national title? Because it doesn't seem logical to say 2 years ago they were 5-7, and now they're good enough to play for a national title.
Last year they were 4-3, and then they've ripped off 8 straight wins, 6 of them absolute blowouts.
Well, and they score 35 a game,
Every
and we
game,
brought that up, and that's the longest streak in the nation of consecutive games scored 35 points or more. They're doing things that, we're not used to seeing, and they're going to be written about and talked about in a different way. But you do catch yourself going, am I being ridiculous?
No, and I don't think we are. I think through 2 weeks, and it's only 2 weeks, they've been the best team in the country. And it's not Georgia, it's hard to know because they played nobody, but you're talking about the opponent level, because Southern Miss isn't Charleston Southern.
Well, I would say, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, they're an okay program.
You can say that they're one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country.
Sure, but
I think if you have a win on the road at Alabama, you deserve the conversation to be about you as
but
well.
then their home game against Rice was
they slept walk. So
but Florida State didn't. That's my point. I'm saying they've had, to me, the best showing of a team in the country through 2 weeks. To come off a short week in offensively kind of sputter in the first half and win 66-13 against a bold program, not a great program, but not a terrible program.
The point is, it doesn't matter if we think they're the best or second best.
They're in the conversation.
They're in the conversation.
And even on the other side, and the thing about that game was the miscues they had, especially offensively, the drops, like they didn't affect anything. They just converted on 3rd or 4th down as opposed to on 1st or 2nd down. They still converted those drives. They still turned them into they scored 9 out of 12 possessions.
Yeah.
And one of those was Duffy.
So,
really
exactly.
9 of 11.
But I think what happens is, and this is where we get into the diciness of like, okay, well, these mistakes existed. It ended up working out. but you're not going to go on 4th and 10 against Clemson.
No, for sure.
And you're going to have harder time converting on 4th and 3 when you have real athletes on the other side. Like Jordan ran around and made a backyard play. That's ridiculous, but it works against Southern Miss. That's why people are like, well, now hold on.
Yeah, but it's just it's a weird. This is a weird. It's like we're skipping a step.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I think maybe more impressive, and it probably didn't get as much talk about because we're always focused on the offense. Everybody, fans in general, are focused on the offense in general. But coming out of that game, I mean, the defense
dominated.
I mean, and Fabian Lovett and Jared Verse are still barely playing. They're playing like 15, 20 snaps a game, and you held them to. In the first half, it was 70 yards. They barely played in the third, after that. And I think they were 0 for 5 on third downs and 0 for 1 on fourth down. So, I mean, you basically, it was 3, you're just pitching 3 and outs the whole game. The only possession they scored on, you had the personal foul and then 1 busted play.
It's one of the things I'm most excited about. And I did that in the first segment yesterday too. It's like, well, hold on, let's really talk about this defense because I was critical and said, I want to see something this year. You got dudes, go make plays. They are. And they're stymieing people at the line of scrimmage, dominating the line of scrimmage, and that is fun to watch. I've had a lot of fun. Hey, Corey, there must be something in the water. Like we're growing closer, you and I. I listened to Wake Up Warchant this morning.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
What?
While I was working out, I did. Buddy.
Okay, and we're working out too.
And what's going on? This is getting weird.
Finally, some brotherly
love. We need to
love.
go have dinner together like we used to do without this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
we're growing apart here. This is nuts. But let me tell you, you know what I got for my investment in Wake Up Warchant? Slided. Because how it is you two could prattle on about having somebody like Dennis Briggs ranked 28th and not note that Jeff Cameron had him 20th.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, yeah, did
oh,
I
that's
really?
That's A-Train's fault. I'm not looking.
That's an oversight, isn't it?
I wasn't looking. I didn't have it in front of me.
You mentioned Tom Lang, who had him 28th, but this guy here, okay.
Screw
Jeff.
That's Aslan. That's on Aslan.
Yeah.
But how about that, by the way? That's a big development. Legitimately, a potentially huge development.
Jeff listening to Wake Up Warchant?
Yes, I'm not. What did you think I was talking
Dennis
about?
Briggs?
It's Jeff. We need another listener.
I don't know that I will because apparently it doesn't matter what I say.
Get you some vitamin energy
or whatever. Yeah.
But Briggs being like this, like he's an impact player.
Yeah, he would have been had he not gotten hurt in the Louisville game.
Sometimes careers.
That's correct. But you could see him coming on at the end of last year. He came on, and I remember asking Adam about that because I was excited about it because I liked Dennis. I thought his potential was that of stardom when he got here. He is a weird player. Nobody should be built like that and move the way he does to where they couldn't figure out if he's an edge player or an interior player. That's how versatile he is. And now that he's healthy and has his strength back and his mobility back, you're seeing him disrupt in a way they need him to because Fabian's easing his way back in. So you need Dennis to be that guy.
And you lost Daryl Jackson. So him stepping up, now you have a legitimate, again, 4-pronged attack at defensive tackle instead of 3. Because Briggs, maybe he's not as good as Daryl Jackson, but he's certainly a reasonable facsimile at this point.
And I mean, again, you're rotating in those guys, Fabian Lovett, Briggs, Fisk, Farmer. I mean, that's a lot to handle.
Oh, and the way Farmer's playing and the way that what you have off the edges. And then when we talk about this upgraded Briggs and Malcolm Ray's been good. I mean, it's been interesting to watch.
There's a play going back and watching the game. There's a play. I was going to tweet it out just because with Farmer, man, how quick he can get off the ball sometimes. It's like you just kind of rewind it and be like, what just happened there?
He looks like a NFL defensive
tackle.
Like, that works.
What's cool about what we've seen through the 2 weeks anyway is especially what we saw in the second half. We always talk about the 90s, Jeff, you and I, and how we'd stick around to watch the younger guys
second
play.
And third string. That just happened this past week. And how cool was that?
And so you're looking at a guy like Nicholson going out and making plays. And Fuller was funny on him yesterday. He's like, look, he asked some questions at the start of practice, like, oh boy, we got a long way to go.
It's going to be a minute.
And then now he might work himself into the rotation. In fact, I think he will by the time the season's over. But also you get to enjoy his development. You get to go watch. They don't have an answer for Vandrevius Jacobs, and he's your 6th wide receiver at this point. It reminds me of like the 96 season when, let's let the young guys play. Get 9 out there and Lavernius Coles. Let him in Georgia Tech DBs will be like, wait, what? Now I gotta try to cover this guy.
This guy's running 4.3.
Johnny Wilson can't catch anything, but now I got to deal with Deuce Spann. Like, where do these guys come from? And it's really cool to see. Mark Easton Douglas played 4 plays in that game. Right. He's a good college football player.
Oh, he's a really good
and he has a hard time getting on the field.
He's going to play in the league.
So when you bring in your backups and they're as good as the other starters or better than the starters for the other team, that's when you know you've got a real program being built.
Ira, you asked this question Well, you kind of referenced it in Jerry and Jones when you brought it up to Mike, and I asked you yesterday on the show about Jerry and Jones because I've really watched that evolution just like you have, and I've enjoyed that. Not only has he improved as a player, but his attitude's different.
Right.
And it was fun to listen to Mike talk about that and answering your question. But I think it spoke to a larger point that I love about this team, and that is they got a lot of dudes that can be playing, a lot of guys that could be on that depth chart, and some are and some aren't for a variety of reasons. But it tells me they hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing at all times, then it's going to show on the depth chart. Their dudes are playing in front of guys who are better than them.
There was a moment in practice today that was pretty funny. Well, not funny for Keon at the moment, but it was funny in general. There was a play, there was a long pass, and Keon ended up, I couldn't tell if he caught it or not, but anyway, he at the end of the play, he ended up getting hit in the midsection.
Well, so it was a little below the midsection.
Yeah. So he goes down and he's kind of like, gathering himself, and a couple of the trainer runs over and a couple of coaches run over, and player in Norvell runs over. And I think Jordan ran over, and everybody's just checking on Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman's a pretty valuable commodity at this point.
Did you see Ingram Smith running over? Were there other people? Were administrators running over?
The alarm went off.
And Norvell gets over to him and he kneels down, and I think he was giving him crap about the play.
Oh, really?
Like they were all going over to make sure.
I know your testicles are hurting right now, but you got to catch the damn ball.
That's pretty funny.
What is our motto? Get better.
Yeah, get better. Get better. Fight through adversity. Respond.
This is a tough one, I understand, but you got to make the play.
Because I was like, man, even the head coach is running over to check on him. And then he was just giving him crap about something about the route.
It's a safe assumption, though, you're right, that if he were to go down and practice for half a second, that you could picture administrators running.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The president is running. Everything all right over here? We good?
Alarms going off on campus.
I'm getting notices on my phone like when I was a student.
Yeah, like a weather alert, shelter in place. There's a storm coming. Yeah, people would know about that. So Keon was good on Tuesday. And I know we're getting ready to go to a break, but I do think it's important, and I just wrote about it. Johnny was great. Johnny caught everything, made some ridiculous catches.
He hasn't had bad practices, Corey.
No, he has.
No, he's had a
That's
couple.
not true.
Late, right before the first game, he had some bad practices.
No, and then last week.
prior to that, he was good.
Yeah, he was. But then last week, after the LSU game, he had bad practices.
Well,
so, again, that's why I think this practice matters, because he had bad practices last week. It carried over.
Here's what I think matters. How does he catch the ball in the game is all anybody's going to hear you
say.
I don't care if he catches everything on Tuesday.
But I do.
Care.
Let's hash out Johnny Wilson after the break.
Look at Iris teasing here. We're all coming together here. This is beautiful. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brain Water, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roastmaster himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Hey headliners, Ira here again. As you remember, a little while ago, we had the idea to start a Headlines merch shop for the best podcast listeners in the world. That's you guys. But I had no idea where to get started. That's why I'm so glad we found Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're a startup using your man cave or you're IPO ready, Shopify is the only tool you'll need to grow your business without all the struggle. Shopify puts you in control of every sales channel. You could be selling satin sheets from Shopify's in-person point-of-sale system, or offering Yay Sausage t-shirts from Shopify's all-in-one e-commerce platform. And once you've reached your audience, Shopify has the internet's best converting checkout to help you turn them from browsers into buyers. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the United States. What I love about Shopify is how no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify gives you everything you need to take control and take your business to the next level. This is Possibility powered by Shopify. Sign up now for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/warchant, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/warchant to take your business to the next level today. Remember, that's shopify.com/warchant, all lowercase.
Every time the Noles take the field, watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Ira, you wanted to get, I don't know why, you just want to jump into the Johnny Wilson stuff.
Yes.
Like you want to do. All right, well, I'm not going to let you bash too much, so get started. Go ahead. I'm going to sit back here and be the defender.
No, man, I'm the defender. I mean, look, man, I just think the thing with Johnny Wilson is, to me, he's so dominant when he makes plays that it's like you kind of have to, live with what he doesn't do. It's like, to me, it's like a great home run hitter. Like, you can't get mad every time Aaron Judge strikes out. Right. I mean, like, I just think that it's a little feast or famine, which isn't great, but he's so dominant to me. And I think, like, people aren't acknowledging the fact that he could be the difference in the game. Like Kelvin Benjamin.
Well, he could be the difference
in winning
championship.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's,
if
so
Kelvin,
people would relax a little bit.
If 2012 Kelvin had been on the 2013 team, they don't win a championship. Right. They're still really good, but they needed that version of Kelvin to win a championship. And as we texted after that during the game, they need Johnny Wilson. Yeah. I just think they do. I think all these the good teams that you might eventually be playing in December, they'll have guys that can cover a Deuce Spann or a Darian Williamson. Nobody has somebody that can cover Johnny Wilson when he's playing well. And the point I brought up about practice was just that. I know nobody cares about practice. I know they have to see it in a game, but he hadn't practiced well. And I think it showed in the game. And I thought that was a good response for him. That's all it was. It's one day, but I thought it was a really positive, encouraging response. Not only that he was practicing, but practicing well. After the game he had on Saturday, which was his worst game since he's been here.
Do you think Allen Iverson has gone a day of his life since he did his practice rant without somebody saying it to him? Like, literally a day in his life. I heard John McEnroe last night on the Manning cast.
And
he was
they
talking
probably
about
just yell practice at him.
Oh, I'm sure, driving down the road.
John McEnroe said he asked, "Are you serious?" one time during a match.
Yeah, I remember it. It was awesome.
And he literally doesn't go a day without somebody yelling, "Are you serious?"
Does he ever get to answer the question, jerk? That's also
that's a good one.
That was they played that part on the
air. And then Jim Mora Sr., like playoffs. People yelled at him. Yeah.
Playoffs.
And then Jimbo Society.
Yeah.
Every time somebody sees Jimbo out in public,
or
Society,
Doss.
They yell Doss at him.
Yeah.
By the way, not a great,
tough one.
Tough. Yeah. But Miami. Miami's offense is going to be much different than it was that you saw
I mentioned
last
before
year.
the start of the season, I thought Miami's offensive and defensive lines were greatly improved, and I only know that because I was betting on them. So I watched that first game against Miami of Ohio very closely. They're a lot better up front.
Yeah.
They're going to protect him. He's going to be able to
be a game.
throw the ball. That's going to be a game.
That could be. That's one of your tougher games left on the schedule for sure.
Yeah, no. So circling back to Johnny, I think it's somewhere in between. Like, I get the concern. And here's my concern. He's always been a guy that's feast or famine. You're right, Ira. He's always been a guy that has a high drop rate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not new. And, if you have a game where you drop 2 balls that should have been easy first down and drive sustainers, but you end up with 7 catches for 109 and 2 touchdowns or something, nobody's going to say anything. Or they'll say something, but it's kind of like, got to live with that.
Like the Oklahoma game. He had that huge drop, but he also had a
and then he ended
game.
up going nuts. Yeah. What I've always worried about is if you have an element, like in this case, if you're really good at something, it being a home run hitter, let's say, right? That's what you do. Everybody watches very closely to see, do we reach periods of ineffectiveness that stretch on too long because it's starting to get to you? Right. Or are you easily able to just put it on the back burner and play the next play?
Don't you think I get what you're saying, and that's why I brought up practice, because I thought the LSU game did kind of screw with him a little bit the next week in practice. Like, he dropped a wide open touchdown that Tuesday after the LSU game, like the first real catch he had to make. And I was like, oh, okay, I hope this doesn't become a thing.
What people are going to be watching.
I hope
closely.
this doesn't become a thing.
I hope not either, because they do need him.
Absolutely.
And listen, he is, I think sometimes we overstate what he is as a receiver. I think he's a matchup nightmare. Plenty of people can cover him. Southern Miss been several nice plays on him. You can be right there with him. He's not running past too many fast corners. So we often, I hear people say, "Oh, you can't cover." You can cover.
Well, but when you add in the catch radius and he's back shoulders, things like that. I mean, you
can be in the picture with him, but
it's a tough ass cover.
That's quote the size mismatch that I'm talking about.
Right.
But people run with Johnny all the time.
Right, but cover is more than just that.
People run with Keon.
Right. Well,
people are going to run with Keon.
Yeah, less so. But yeah, Keon's a better receiver than Johnny.
He is a better receiver.
It's not
but
close.
But when you add in the catch radius, Johnny can be a more dominant player, I believe.
He could be a guy that's more
You think Johnny Wilson's a more dominant player than Keon?
He can be a more dominant player.
All right. Well, not in his career, because he drops the ball a lot.
Well, dude, Johnny's had some monster football. He had 200 yards against Oklahoma.
He also had 5 games where he didn't do anything. So what?
That's why I said can be. I said he's not always.
He can have a game where he is.
What I'm saying is,
want consistency. We all do.
Yeah, man, that would be awesome if he was 6'7" and consistent as a receiver. He wouldn't be at Florida State this year.
Correct.
Well, so you got what you got. No, I'm saying when he's good, when he makes the catch, he's dominant.
When he does.
But I'm saying Keon can't do things Johnny can do.
Because he's not 6'7", but he is 6'4".
Well, he is 6'7". That counts.
But that's a weird thing to say.
Faster, can jump higher, is more athletic, catches the ball better.
What's the argument?
He's a better receiver.
But what's the argument? The argument is that when Johnny's playing well, he cannot be guarded, and you know that because you've seen it. Keon's very close to the same thing. But you keep conflating covering someone as being guarded. Johnny Wilson, that's like saying Shaq is being guarded when he's 2 feet from the rim. If he gets the ball in a spot, it's a dunk.
Yeah, the guy that he mossed in the Oklahoma game was all over his ass.
Yeah, he was covered.
We all agree that the good version of Johnny Wilson takes this team to another level. Right. I am not arguing that. I'm not. I think sometimes it's overstated the effects he has on games. Johnny Wilson will go stretches where he doesn't have a huge effect as a pass catcher on games. Now, he always blocks, and I love that aspect of him because he plays and plays hard. And he works hard, and apparently it seems like a good kid. So there's a lot to always like about Johnny Wilson, and you're better with him than without him for sure. But he's not a dominant, I'm talking about consistently, game-changing receiver.
But it's like, correct, but he can dominate.
His ceiling is higher than anybody else on that team.
And there aren't other guys on the team that can dominate like Johnny can dominate. That's why you have to make sure he's right, because it's like Kelvin in 13. There was nobody else like him.
He's a physical freak. There's no doubt that
you needed that
mismatch
guy.
is a problem. Right?
So that's why he can be a guy that can dominate in just like, I mean, there aren't that many in the country.
So we're not arguing.
So nobody's sitting here saying he's an awesome receiver, but he can at times take over games, which is such a great luxury to have when you're chasing a championship.
I don't disagree with that.
I think there's a similarity to Trey Benson. I think Trey Benson has not always been your best all-around running back.
Agreed.
But nobody else has that size and speed.
Agreed.
So that makes him, you have to invest in him.
How about Keziah, by the way?
It was nice.
And what else about Keziah was after the game, Benson said that he thinks Keziah is a little faster than him, which I was like, oh, really?
Get out there and race.
Well, also,
Let's go. You're on the same team.
Keziah's the truth then. Like,
I
he's
like
a
Keziah
big dude,
a lot.
too.
I like Keziah a lot.
And I like Rodney Hill a lot.
Dude, they're loaded. That's what we're talking about. They can have stretches where they don't play well and they win 66-13. Now we're comparing and contrasting the game-to-game performances with, are you good enough to win the national championship? So I think they are. So do you.
Yeah.
That's the
which
standard,
is crazy. I wouldn't have thought that.
Which is what Mike is doing. That's why you see Mike coaching them so hard and getting mad. He was frustrated with Johnny on Saturday. He was still frustrated with the first time he had to talk about it.
Yeah.
Jane in the chat. Love Johnny. He isn't perfect. Neither of any of you. I agree, Jane. You're
That's
right.
not true. I'm perfect. Look at
Somehow our argument over Johnny Wilson was equated or conflated with us thinking we're perfect.
Are they? Just taking shots at us.
Illogical. Anyhow,
but he had a great practice today. He did look great. And yeah, man. I mean, what I'd love to know is, like, when Mike Norvell is talking to him or when Keon Coleman's talking to him about the importance of, like, being consistent, because, like, his first drop in the LSU game, when I went back and watched the replay, he kind of smiles about it, which is, like, I'm sure it's probably like playing it off, like, you know,
defense mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. But man, that will be the difference between him being a first round pick and being a third day pick.
And it also could be, you might be, and I know I'm projecting way in advance. You might have a 3rd and 14 against Georgia to get in field goal range to have a chance for Fitzmagic to win you a national championship. You got to catch that ball if he's throwing it to you. And
and this is why people get scared and frustrated and reactionary to the extremes.
Yeah.
Because when you show that you're capable of dropping big passes, drive-sustaining passes, somehow that resonates for longer periods of time with people in their memory right after the game than the 7 catches.
Right. It's
and
like
that doesn't
a bad
seem
beat
fair.
poker.
I understand.
Yeah.
And so what we all do is we end up arguing to the other side. And I get it, because I think both are right. I think Ira's right to point out how great he can be. And I think I'm right to say, well, let's slow our roll, because he doesn't do it for games at a time.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in between, but he is capable of taking over a game because he is 6'7".
Yeah, I think they have 2 guys, not counting Jordan, that can go win you a game. And it's Johnny and Keon. When they're playing well, can go win you. Everything else being equal, the team you're playing on the other side does not have that.
They had some really cool moments on Saturday with other receivers.
Yeah, which was cool to see.
Which is going to be important.
Yeah.
We should talk about that.
I like Deuce. Deuce is coming along a little bit.
You know I am, and he's had to come a long way, as Mike pointed out.
And Darian too, man. That's a great story.
I'm actually more excited about Darian because he's just never been healthy.
I'm excited about both of them, man. That catch by Deuce was legit.
I didn't realize how good a catch it was till I watched the replay. It was high. It was a little bit behind him. He's running full speed. That's a great catch.
And he looked smooth doing it.
And to your point, I was shocked.
And
I'm rooting for that guy big time for obvious reasons. But when he caught that, I went.
And if Jordan makes a better throw, I mean, he's three yards past that DB.
Yeah. He's got speed for days. He's antelope. It's unbelievable. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
The Leon County Sheriff's Office has arrested a man in connection to an accidental shooting on Saturday. Javen Parker, 18 years old, was arrested after a 13-year-old girl was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound. After an investigation, detectives learned that the victim was standing next to Parker when he allegedly unintentionally shot the gun. Parker was arrested a day later. A 37-year-old man was arrested after trying to bring an airsoft gun into a high school football game. The game was between Godby and Caro High Schools at Gene Cox Stadium. Justin Ray Montgomery attempted to enter the facility with a backpack when it was searched. The gun was found and resembled a pistol in looks and weight, but was later determined to be an airsoft gun. Montgomery was charged with possession of a weapon on school property and booked into the Leon County Jail. This is Rachel and with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms likely. High temperatures reach up to 92. Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms likely tonight. Lows dip down to about 72. Partly cloudy skies. Scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 92. Partly cloudy. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
I got good news, boys. We got a new MyBookie. I'm going to read it right now. Sorry, I didn't turn on your mics, but I figured you'd celebrate.
It's exciting.
A new MyBookie.
Talking about the Orioles and the Braves in the postseason?
As an aside, that's a realistic possibility, boys. That's a World Series that you're going to have to go to.
I think they have the two best records in baseball.
They do. The Orioles are only two games back of the Braves in terms of record.
Yeah. We've just distanced the Dodgers. I was walking to the stadium Saturday, and some guy yelled out,
"Go
Braves and Orioles World Series."
It's a distinct possibility.
I'm too nervous to
I'm a little worried
that.
about your rotation.
No, our pitching isn't great.
Your rotation's not good
Freed's
enough.
good. Strider can be. And then Charlie Morton apparently is the best pitcher on the team.
I love Charlie Morton.
But other than that, and their bullpen isn't great.
I'd take the Orioles in that matchup.
Well, all right.
Let's settle down.
We
got to figure out a way past that.
You hit everybody. You hit everybody.
Got to figure out a way past the Astros. I'm a little concerned about the Astros.
All right. Well, don't get concerned about the Astros. Sit back and think about the Orioles' victories.
Can't wait to see all the ways you made fun of me.
That's true.
About the Braves in 2021.
Watch the damn game. He watches every game.
Maybe, but he's almost going to puke. Well, he's going to be puking half the time.
That's true.
That's true. I would if the Pirates ever got there, but they won't. But, I'm just saying, you got to watch.
You don't have to.
You can't get up and walk out of the room. What's the point? My stepdad is a UF law grad and a Bull Gator, and he's to the age in his life where he cannot watch them if it's close at halftime. At halftime, he walks away. He's like, it's too close. I don't like this. I'm like, you're going to play a lot of close games. You're in the SEC.
Weird,
what is wrong with you? What are you doing? He's like, I can't deal with it. That's crazy.
As you get older, that happens.
What's wrong with people?
Well, and see, I told Stephanie that if the Braves, she's like, I can't deal with you in October again. I'm like, look, last year wasn't bad, right? And she goes, well, yeah, they only played 4 games. They got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and it didn't affect me at all. I got a recent title. So I'm
you
good
don't have
now.
to worry about it. So you can easily watch.
I hadn't, the last time they had won was
going to be tough.
26 years. So that's why I was so nervous. But now that they've won a title recently, go ahead. Go ahead, Orioles.
I've decided not to do the MyBookie read it.
We'll do it later.
We'll do it later.
Right,
I just want you to know it's new.
It's good. I can't wait to hear it.
Hey, you know what I'm going to be watching later today. I don't know if you're going to be watching or not. You need to make it over. Going to watch a little Clark Cameron and a little Keith Cottrell coaching.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, man. I'm going to swing by the middle school game.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I can't. I'll probably play in trivia.
You'll be on the road, won't you?
No, that's I'm leaving tomorrow. But when does and Bryce plays on Wednesday?
So here's the problem with
how about you with all your football playing sons?
It's I'm a taxi. That's where I'm either taking them to school or practice or back from or a game or whatever it might be. So this has been a gripe of mine, and apparently Keith Cottrell heard it and echoed my sentiment to his principal, who's the former Tony McQuaid of Florida State baseball.
Yeah.
So I have bitched on the air.
Is it about the music in the stadium?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I knew there would be plenty of people who could take up that fight.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm
carrying
it.
What I'm saying is they tell you at the start of the year, all right, most of the middle school games are on Tuesday. There's 1 or 2 on a Wednesday. JV football's on a Thursday. Varsity football's on a Friday. That's the way it's going to be. Okay, great. Or Wednesday and Friday, worst case scenario.
Right.
Oh, tonight they both play at the exact same time on a Tuesday. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
Willy-nilly changing schedules all the time. Just so-and-so's field screwed up. We got to go play over here. They're all turf. They're all garbage fields. They're so proud of their damn fields because they laid down turf, and none of them should be turf. We're in Florida. If you can't grow grass in Florida, you can't grow grass.
Oh,
it's stupid. So anyhow,
he's fired up.
No, it drives me nuts. Poor kids out there. It's 115 degrees and they're playing on turf like a bunch of a-holes. It's ridiculous. So all of that bothers me to no end. But the willy-nilly movement of games, look, people got schedules, man. That guy who's got to work,
about that.
It's crazy, right? So anyhow, yeah, we got to divide and conquer. Luckily, Ira's going to be there for my middle school son.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah,
Good job, Ira. We'll film him if he catches a touchdown.
Nuts, man. Driving me nuts. Anyhow, by the way, Leon is 2-0 or 3-0. This is the first time in like 30 years.
Man, that varsity team's doing well.
They are.
By the way, just back to the music real quick.
Okay, let's do it.
Because were you in the stadium? Did you go to the game?
Yeah.
Did you notice it?
Oh, yeah.
Immediately see. So I noticed
Is it much different than last year? That's why.
It's a little different. It's not crazy different, but it's different. Like we've been heading the wrong direction for a long time, guys.
And I know we're old.
Yeah.
But aren't we the demographic of a college football fan?
Correct. The people who can afford tickets.
Who are you doing the NBA Trae Young's dribbling the ball up the court music for?
Maybe the recruits.
I mean, you think they're going to be like, well, Alabama plays better music in between snaps. I just think college football, I think what these universities do, because they'll hire people to try to make their stadium experience like a professional experience with whatever that means, and think that people want the atmosphere to be a pro football atmosphere. No. I grew up a college football fan. I am a hardcore college football fan. I don't want it to be NFL.
But is that what a pro football atmosphere is now?
No,
I
that
think
bad.
No, it isn't. But I think they will play music in between snaps. Some.
And you can do that some if it's a TV timeout or whatever.
You have college bands.
Correct.
People care more, I think. They're more invested, and just let the game breathe. It's okay to let a game breathe.
Well, we're having
just
a
play a
larger
6-second snippet.
I agree.
By the way, the music, they played Pearl Jam at one point. So it's nothing to get. It's not like these old guys don't like their hip hop. They played a music from every genre in every decade.
Yeah. It's just that you don't always have to fill the silence with something.
Let the crowd
make a noise. I've been saying this to my youngest son for a long time. It's okay to sit there and be you. You don't have to be stimulated at all times so you get some sort of endorphin rush because you got to hit play on YouTube. Yeah. Just sit there.
Or refresh on the Twitter.
Yeah, come on, just sit there. Like, it's all right. Talk about the game amongst each other. You know, it's okay. But I also know that that's probably not going to change anytime soon.
I feel like it. I hope it does. They got a month to get it right. They got a month in between home games. Just make it a real. Just make it a college football.
Find the happy medium, I guess.
You don't have to play music in between snaps.
Yeah, it can be.
It's just bizarre. I'm more interested in like who makes that decision. Who decided to do that? Did they have a survey of people?
So professional teams do that. They do have a survey.
Sure.
They do have groups come in, analyze.
But did you just hire somebody from the Dolphins? They're like, hey, I'm bringing Hard Rock to Doak, baby.
I just like that you summarized it correctly in the sense that when you go down to Miami and go to a game, it is always that. And I think our fan base is kind of like, yo, we like being devoid of that. We don't need songs in between every play. What if it
was just more jock jams?
More Gary Glitter. You know what I mean? More Gary Glitter. He's got a bad rap here lately. He's had some bad PR for the last 4 decades or so, but that song still keeps resonating. But it's crazy too that like we touched on it a little bit, transitioning back to what we talked about at the beginning.
Back to football.
We've gotten here to a point where after 2 games of a 2023 season, literally the 2-year anniversary of Jacksonville State, we think we might be covering the best team in the United States. That's crazy.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's something to celebrate.
And that's why I'm trying to enjoy it. I really am trying to embrace it and enjoy it this time, and not hand-wring so much about, okay, he's got to get better here or they've got to get better there to win. I just want to.
I think you can do both, Corey.
I
really
don't.
I think it's
I got to compartmentalize.
Well, I mean, maybe you can't, but I can.
My brain doesn't work like that.
I can say, all right, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Think about where we were 2 years ago and how tough it was to come in here and try to find a glimmer of hope as to where it was headed.
Think about those 2019
the plaques. Corey brought it up when we walked in. Ken the Carver did the plaques for when the aspiration was, can they be a top 60 offense or a top 60 defense? And then when they did it, he sent us the plaques.
That was 2 years ago, gang.
Sure it was. Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, there have been a lot of moments where you're like, this is tough.
I mean, I just think about that COVID
top
season.
60 offense.
And I lost my mind. I think it was the Pitt game where I just lost my mind on this show.
Yeah.
Every game they give up, they make the other quarterback look like an incredible player.
Well, it was a Louisville game.
Or Bailey Hawkman, that game.
Oh,
it's like,
buddy.
It was.
We shouldn't bring that up.
The depths were so low not that long ago. And now they've reached this where,
I think it's you
they're
can
going to be favored
speak
in every
on
game
them
they
relative to what they are now. So it's like you can appreciate that 2 years ago we were wandering the wilderness there with no real path towards this kind of a season seemingly in front of us. But now here we are.
Yeah.
We're talking about a team that offensively I do think has the chance to be top number 1, number 2 in the country and offensive production. I think they can be. USC may beat that out.
Right.
Some teams that play a faster pace might. But Florida State's certainly in the conversation for has a chance to be best offense in the country.
55.5 points, and they haven't even clicked.
They haven't clicked.
Yeah.
So you just did it the way you should do it.
Yeah.
It's okay to note that they are averaging 55 points, and that's pretty awesome. But also it's fair to say they haven't clicked. Jordan can play a lot better. Trey Benson can play better.
Yeah.
Johnny Wilson can play better. That offensive line hasn't always been consistent run blocking. They can be better. We know this. The stuff that you hear, what I like about Mike right now is if you're listening, and I know you guys are, if you listen closely, he's telling you that he's not overly satisfied with this. He's pushing because he knows they're better than they've played.
Yeah.
Well, and again, when we talk about the hyperdrive thing
on offense,
it's the same. It's going to be a challenge for them too, because the way the process. Remember, so when going into 2013, Jimbo's big mantra was how big it was that they won that ACC championship in 2012. Because until you've won a championship, you don't know what it's like to win a championship, and they needed to win that championship to come into the 2013 knowing what to expect. Well, you're skipping that step. Right. And I didn't believe necessarily what Jimbo was saying.
I still don't.
I thought it sounded good.
Yeah. It's what he needed to say to excuse away the loss to NC State.
But I do think it's normally what happens, though. It's like there usually is a step where, man, that was a great season. If only we had done this, this, and this. So you're now going to expect this team, because it is a pretty complete football team as it's constructed, to skip that step and not have the game where they stumble, not have the game where they miss. So that's the challenge. I mean, I agree with Corey. I think this team could be the best team in the country. They could be the best team in the country based on what we've seen so far. But can they skip that step of maybe losing a game you shouldn't lose, or not fulfilling those?
Or if they struggle in a game, which is going to happen, they're not the 85 Bears. They're going to struggle in a game, and they're going to be in a game in the fourth quarter. Can they go ahead and win that game? Like they did that last year too, at the end of last season with Oklahoma and Florida. They found a way to win those games. But maybe it's going to struggle at Clemson. I mean, maybe not even struggle. Right. It's just going to be a hard game to win. That's a step. They still haven't proven they can beat Clemson. Nobody on this roster has beaten Clemson besides Odell Higgins. So you've got to figure out a way to do that. Odell owned Clemson.
It's interesting. What will they react? How will they react if it's tied 24 all in the fourth quarter?
Well, we got a pretty good sign of it from the LSU game.
I was going to say,
because that game was, I mean,
it was
tight. It was tied in the fourth.
It was
late in the third,
one touchdown in the fourth quarter. It was still 24-17 in the fourth quarter, and they just poured it on. And again, I think that part of that, the depth is a big part of that. I mean, like that they can be so fresh late in the game. LSU did not look as fresh as Florida State did late in that game. That's not all just Josh Storms. I think it's part of, that staff gets credit for it, but it's also the depth in rotating guys, because you have that kind of depth. Norvell had a pretty good stat today. He said he went back and looked at the last several national championship teams, and their best defensive linemen, none of them played over 50% of the snaps.
One of them. He said one of the last 4 national championships had a championship teams had a defensive lineman that played over 50% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Only one lineman.
Got to be able to continue to rotate guys. I do think
16.
the schedule benefits them in the sense that there's only a couple of teams that could take advantage of you if you weren't playing your top line.
And they seem to be spaced out.
Yeah, they are. I feel like Florida State can rest guys a lot with the talent they have on offense and the numbers they're going to put up. They're going to be in positions to give guys some time off, like this last game where basically your starters took the second half off.
But I mean, it's a good thing that those guys are willing to do it too, because these are the games where Jared Verse racks up stats.
Yeah.
These are the games where Keon Coleman can rack up stats. So those guys are being a little selfless by not wanting to play. And he said those guys, everybody wants to play more.
Oh, sure.
But they're willing to do it because they know it's better for the long course of the season.
And I think the thing a coach can do today that he couldn't do in 1980 per se is he could say to a kid, every one of your plays is going to be seen by a scout.
Right.
That's not true. Like back in the day, there was stats mattered. Like if I didn't have 7 catches for 100 yards, they were like, what happened against Southern Miss? Well, now I can show you, well, first of all, we took him out. Here were the 3 plays that were thrown to him and he dominated, or whatever it might be. You get the point. Here's when he was on the field. They're not just compiling stats to draft you anymore. They can see everything about you. And Verse knew he would have gone in the first 2 rounds last year. Everybody knows what he is. Now, he may still want to be out there, of course.
And produce.
But you got to tell him, like, hey, man, I mean, what's it really going to mean if you have 3 sacks against Southern Miss in the second half of a 50-point ass kick?
Yeah, you'd rather be elite. And that's what Norvell actually said. I don't want to put guys out there when they can play elite. You'd rather be elite in that Clemson game.
That's going to be the one that everybody's looking at because that's good skill on good skill. Like you have to be really good against Miami, Jared Verse, because they have some NFL offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Southern Miss does not. Right. So, I mean, and it's to me, that's an easy sell. It's an even easier sell because he's got a collection of guys that he vetted well when they went into the portal. They didn't just take anybody. Right. They took guys that you're like, okay, now you're going to have to buy into this. I want you to do this, 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 and this. Mike always talks about how he tells them, I'm going to challenge you when you get here. Even if you're the best player on my roster after you say yes to Florida State, I'm going to challenge you. Yeah. You got to be better. I like that he just openly admits Hakeem Williams was never in shape when he got here. We saw it with our own eyes.
By the way, that's a guy who's coming along strong.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. Yeah. And I like so look at what Hakeem's already done. He's probably won over the coaches, because he recognized he was out of shape, took hard coaching, and he continues to block.
Yeah.
I mean, he's evil as a blocker. And this is with him without getting the ball. What do you have? He has 1 catch?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like he's not getting the ball and he's still downfield blocking, creating big plays for others. That's total buy-in. I'm going to want to play you if you're that guy. I'm going to want you to get out there. And a real good sign, we only have a minute left and we'll go to the headliner questions in the second hour. A real good sign is that Vendravius Jacobs got in. That also, again, Marquiston Douglas scored a touchdown here. Some guys that we didn't know why they weren't on the chart or where we thought they should be, getting in, making plays. Good.
Marquiston had a couple of catches today that were ridiculous. Like where he's just posting up DBs.
He posted up Jarian, caught it over him, and then was laughing as he got pushed out of bounds. And then Vendravius ran by and gave the 2 short symbol to Jarian as they're running back. It's cool to have competition like that.
It was like when your big brother would just hold you by the head and you're swinging at him.
Yeah.
Well, and that man is 285 pounds. You ought not be able to run that fast after making, somebody miss.
Yeah, man. He's third string, like legitimately third string.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
He's going to play in the league. And if I'm the other 2 tight ends, I'm like, that guy's going to the league. And I'm in front of him. Man, this is pretty
good
cool.
too.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn good. Hour number 2 forthcoming. We'll get to your headliner questions momentarily. Stay with.
AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away. Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
Hurricane season is here, and now is the time to make a move to keep your home comfortable, even if the power gets knocked out, with a home backup generator. Parker Services is proud to announce that they now sell and install whole home generators, and with financing options, they can be surprisingly affordable. Never worry about the loss of power again. Invest in your family's peace of mind with a home generator from Parker Services. Give them a call today for a free quote.
Parker Services. Comfort's just a call away.
CMC 050334.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course, the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers, and that's not all, Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270146.
Attention radio listeners, this is a Foodies Takeout and Delivery new restaurant alert. Now available for takeout and delivery from foodiestakeout.com. The Hawthorne Bistro, Jerry's Love on a Plate, Coach's Pizza, Munchie's Pizza, Red Eye Coffee, Lofty Pursuits, OG Subs, Dave's Pizza Garage, Sakura Sushi, and many more. Find a complete list of locally owned restaurants offering takeout and delivery at foodiestakeout.com. That's foodiestakeout.com. Don't just shop local, order local.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida Gators hosting the Tennessee Volunteers on Saturday at the Swamp. Tennessee, the 6.5-point road favorite with a total of 59. Florida State lays 25 at Boston College, a total 48 at Alumni Stadium. Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs has agreed to a new one-year deal to keep him with the team. He'll make $19.5 million plus, lots of incentives that he could make more than he was scheduled to make this year. He had held out through the first week of the season. The Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites at the Jaguars on Sunday. The total 51 at Everbank Stadium. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hey, it's Greg Tish, and I want to tell you about QC Kinetics and the advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all of that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, your hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call QC Kinetics for a free consultation from the medical professionals there. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things that you absolutely love again, pain-free. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring long-lasting relief. Call them today, 850-391-4280, 850-391-4280, 850-391-4280.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines and headliner questions coming your way, as brought to you by, in part, always, Dr. Birch Orthodontics. It does. The world's right again. I will see Dr. Birch tomorrow.
Nice.
Been a minute.
Bright and early. Bright and early. I'm sure my son will appreciate it. Walk in, get up.
After his
Gotta
football
go see
game.
Dr. Birch. But hey, here, the news has been good. The last 4 times we've gone in, he's starting to look human. Teeth are coming back together. It's all great.
Work, Clark.
Yeah, good work, Dr. Birch.
Well, true. That's
Good work,
exactly
Dr.
right.
Birch.
They will do, her office will do the things where they'll show the before and after smiles.
Oh, buddy, wait. He's going to be on the Hall of Fame. He's a wall of fame of before and after.
They have to
photos.
get your permission. They don't just do it. They'll say, hey, are you okay with it? Because, they're proud of the smile that you come out with. All my kids ended up doing those pictures. And you can as well. If you go to birchorthodontics.com, we cannot recommend them highly enough. All of our kids, a lot of our coworkers and friends' kids have gone there as well. They do tremendous work, all the latest technology, techniques, really just state-of-the-art, all the experience, but then also great customer service, payment plans. They'll make it as affordable as they can. They also have free consultations, and they handle tough cases. And what I love about them, and I think what you love about them too, is that they really take the time to invest in making it as painless as possible and not just going to the easiest solution for them. They're going to work through it for your kids. So it's awesome. We recommend them highly. birchorthodontics.com.
That was thorough, Ira.
That
I
was,
liked
Ira.
it. That was really, that's the best you've ever done.
Thanks,
on that.
man.
I mean that.
We're all
Seriously,
growing.
It
We're
was
all
really, it's what a day of growth around here.
We're doing it.
Listening to each other's shows.
Yeah, how about that?
Listening to the arguments and coming back. Even after testing us, we're good.
Yeah,
It's just, we are growing as
Starting
a
to
show.
grow up.
12, 13 years in.
Hey, we're going to do the Coach Speak show again this week?
Yeah, I thought that was a given.
Yeah.
It was a huge hit, by the way. That's Thursday morning that we're doing.
Yeah, we'll be doing it on Thursday.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Very much so.
Probably have Jimbo on there again. I would imagine.
Well, he was
There's a
talking about
chance.
guys slapping their ass to make the sound of the.
Miami was cheating.
it was-
Miami was
they
cheating.
were clapping hands. Yeah, that's
Cheating.
You know, here's what I would tell you, and we'll talk about this when we get the chance to hear the comments and then look at the video and all that. But even if it's true, you never come out after that ass
sounds like
kicking and
such an
say that.
excuse
What are you
maker,
doing?
man.
You can't do that. Like, you could know it. It could be accurate.
Yeah.
You might be enraged.
You just have to wear it.
You got to wear that, dude.
Yeah.
That's part of it. What are we doing out here? I like this right off the bat. I wanted to go to this one first because it made me smile. 5-star and hardcore. Next Seminole Rap, after a blowout, can you all interview the guys driving the John Deere carts? They always seem to find you guys no matter what. Yeah, I love it.
We were talking about the other night.
By the way, it's
like,
Warchant rap.
yeah, the Warchant
Seminole rap is a complete. I don't want to be associated with
you
that
don't want to be
debacle.
associated with that. Yeah,
Warchant rap.
But I read it as it was.
But
Yeah,
as we started to do the post game wrap the other night, and they are working on that field. And Corey's like, "There's another game here in a month."
Yeah,
like,
what are
why-
they on a rush
go
for?
home, go to bed. Get some rest. See
You
you in
got,
the morning,
you got
buddy.
27 days to get the field
Hey,
ready.
Ralph, I'll see you at 9. Sleep
Yeah.
in. It's going to
Yeah.
be all right. We're good. Get you some eggs.
I
Spend some
almost,
time
it
with
would have
your
been
wife.
cool. They were breaking down the ACC network set behind us, and I guess they used
the end
college kids, interns, to like load up all the equipment.
Right.
And there was a couple of college kids that were a little bit too loud for my taste while we're recording. And I wanted to be like, don't y'all want to do this someday? Like be in front of a camera. Isn't this why you're doing this?
Don't you want to be like us?
Corey
Yeah,
was
don't you want
being
to be around
uppity
us?
is what he was being.
So maybe
My
like
goodness.
try to have some awareness and not be loud and try to ruin a take because you're yelling at each other.
Do you know who I am?
Do you
I was
have
gonna
any
say-
idea who I am
I was
and
gonna
how
say,
important
Corey,
I am?
Corey, you're losing here. Where you needed to go was the latter part before that. You just do you ever try to be considerate? Like just say try to be
That's
considerate.
true too. Yeah.
Just say
yeah,
that. Just
yeah.
try to be considerate.
Have you ever done it once in your life?
Yeah, just try to be considerate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all. Guys, great job every week. Yay, sausage. Rewatching the game. I forgot Johnny did catch the one ball that was PI, but he didn't reestablish. My question, though, is this. Will we see the icy white unis in Chestnut Hill this weekend?
The icy white.
Were you surprised that they went all garnet at home?
I forgot
For
they
the
did,
opener?
honestly. They did go all garnet. I guess I was
There was
surprised.
no reason to go all garnet.
No,
that was a
fine.
reward for LSU. I'm sure they let the players vote.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not letting them vote. Coach Cameron ain't
Ever.
letting them vote nothing.
No.
We ain't voting on nothing. This
Soon
is what
enough,
the hell we're wearing.
Soon enough, might have the turquoise out there.
Okay.
Jordan Travis has had a couple. It's a big place for him, that Boston College field. He had his breakout moment in 19 there. He had a pretty important road win up there when they got up 27-3, and then the refs tried to take it from him. So he's had some good moments up there in Chestnut Hill.
Next, we've got how was it that 100 players got into that game and not one of the three of you got snaps? I'm pretty sure Sweet Pea could have got some good reps in. Build functional depth.
Yeah, that's true. 104 players or 102 players,
Yeah.
I think is what he said. That's crazy.
I loved it. And throwing in walk-ons was fantastic.
Early on in the third quarter, they're playing walk-ons.
Well, there were also some guys that got looks early on defense in the first or two series of the game.
Conrad Hussey.
Yeah, he was in the game. I noticed it right away. I was telling my dad, I was like, that's Conrad Hussey in with the starters.
And he almost had the pick.
He should have had
By the way,
pick.
he celebrated like he had the pick as if he doesn't know about instant replay.
Yeah.
But you sell it. But
Well, in high school, you don't.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's his first game in college, but they went back and looked, Conrad.
Elise writes, I'm curious how Jeff's experience getting into the stadium was Saturday. We walked up to our gate, no need to check my bag, they said, and my ticket scanned on the first try. We were in the stadium in under 90 seconds. It was
Wow.
shocking.
Okay.
Now, Elise, I have concerns that they didn't even want to check your bag.
No, they have new policies this year. It was they put that's a good point because everybody's man, you're 2-0 when you see some of the things that people are bitching about on the tribal council this week.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, they're going after the Champions Club. They're going after concessions. They're going after. I saw a thread about Jeff Culhane. They're going after
The music.
The music.
The music's
Well, the
warranted,
music's a
though.
big one,
Music's warranted.
Yeah.
But nobody's pointed out like they did.
Easy
How was it,
breeze,
Jeff? How was
The
it?
entrance was a lot
breezy.
better
I actually,
because last year was ridiculous.
it was out of control. It was criminal. I'm still scarred.
You got it done. You got it changed, and now Corey's going after the music.
I'm not going to lie, Corey. We make a difference on this show. You keep going after the music. Write
I
a
am.
column about it.
I know, Mickey.
Write something
I am
about
going to
it.
write a column about
lengthy
it.
one.
Mickey Andrews' statue's going up any day now.
Remember,
That's
I
right.
got the stadium scoreboard painted finally.
Yes. Yep.
And now I got us into the stadium. So you need to do this.
I brought up
Anything
something
you
else.
want to bitch about?
No, he never.
Come on,
He
man.
said he's never been a college football fan like you and I have. So he doesn't.
true.
It's true, right? Like
is
you've
true.
always watched it as a journalist. So he's never gotten the stadium experience like you and I have, and it still matters to us. I was going to ask
I want you
too.
to bitch about something. All right, let's get some things changed for the
And-
better.
and the
around
reason
here.
we're bitching is
I
'cause
usually
it's-
just
I'll
I
give
usually
you
just bitch about him.
All right, that's
Yeah, I
true.
know.
That's true, and it's not working. But here's,
I keep fighting through that.
hey, treat us like adults over at Sports Information. Give us our press passes on a Friday or early in the
Wouldn't
morning
that
if
be
I want to.
something?
That's when I am going to
Come on, baby, let's
But that's
go.
more-
I've been
that's-
bitching about this forever.
that's
What?
too-
You can't trust it. Hey, if I lose my pass,
I don't know.
everything, I don't get it.
I don't know if the audience cares.
That's too
much
inside
about that.
baseball.
I'm
What
just
I
letting you
was
know,
going to
come
say
on.
though is, and with the reason we're
busy
complaining
before
about
the game. We're busy before the game.
the home opener. It's the home opener, so it's our first Doak experience. That's why it's all come together. Like the lights were awesome. Love the lights.
I don't care about the lights.
I
think
know
they're
you don't,
silly.
but
The national anthem was
that
cool.
part was cool.
what'd you think about the way they used the stats on the video board?
Can
Because
we go
I
to
got
questions?
another one.
Can we go to
I'm
questions?
They had
Please.
they would
Please.
have
I know,
punting.
We
Corey.
know.
Okay,
I know,
awful.
I'm with
punting
you.
1
It's
for
not-
52, Florida State.
But somebody does have to point these things out.
When you get the baseball stats figured out on that scoreboard, then you
Oh
can
my
move
God.
over to football.
That's
No,
been a
yeah,
lifelong
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
I don't think we're ever going to get that accomplished. I don't know why, but yeah. Gents, thank you for keeping us informed and entertained across all your shows and write-ups. I've been really impressed by Briggs this year. What have you all thought? And who's a player that impressed you so far that maybe was a bit unexpected?
You should brag about Briggs first.
Well, I will. I had him 20th. Thought he would have a great year. I'm happy that he is, but I'm going to nominate somebody else because we already established that Briggs is doing his thing. I didn't think that Nicholson could get on the field this quickly and look like he belonged. Now, I knew.
Because he didn't in the first week of camp.
No. And he's undersized a little, although he's already blowing up.
He's getting bigger.
He's getting bigger. Yeah, he looked bigger in uniform the other
Bama
night.
table.
I was like,
Seminole
okay,
table.
Storms, you're doing some things. Yeah. So I was impressed by that. But, man, all we heard about when he was being recruited was what a great athlete he was. He played running back and receiver and safety and all these other things, right? But the number one thing that I got excited about, because it's been my main bitch about linebackers, is that none of our linebackers covered to my satisfaction. And people said I was nitpicking. That's fine. That kid can cover. He can cover. He can run. He can diagnose. He can cover. He's going to be good. You can see it.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be good.
It's exciting. So
he
that's
had a good
fine.
coverage
That's
play
fine.
today.
You guys nominate somebody.
Those are good. I think Briggs is mine.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think Briggs is
I think I might go with Keandre Jones. I didn't know of the 8 guys. They said they have 8 guys. Of the 8, I didn't know if he was kind of like close to 8 or 9. But he's gotten in, and I think he's played pretty well. And again, just the fact that you have that depth to where, again, like this past week, Robert Scott and Maurice Smith did not play, and the offensive line looked totally fine.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
It's a real good sign. Yeah. Is Texas A&M ready to self-report recruiting violations or anything else they can find to fire Jimbo?
Trying to find some cause.
Got to find some cause.
Well, Ira, you saw the thing in the chat.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said, "Oh man, I don't know who it was." So, but somebody in the chat said that there's going to be a picture is going to surface of Jimbo spooning a cow in the back of a pickup truck,
naked. He's got to be nude.
Yeah,
He's got to be naked like McElwain.
Oh,
except a shark, it's a cow. Or that dog.
Texas A&M, you guys need to start working on some cause because I think they still owe him like $75 million.
They re-upped after the COVID year.
Yeah,
they gave him a huge extension after the COVID year.
Because you had to. He only had 8 years left.
Otherwise, the Seahawks were calling.
And I don't think he's as susceptible to certain things that a lot of guys have fallen victim to in the past that, we lack self-control as men. We're the inferior species here or gender. But yet, if you throw ladies at Jimbo, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he's ever really been motivated by that.
So just cheating.
What did
they
you
want
say?
to go with
Throw
the
what at
route.
them?
Ladies.
Is that?
Oh, I'm trying to get.
I got you.
You see
Okay.
where I'm going?
I just what did I just hear?
The Mel Tucker thing. I'm trying to get a guy tossed here.
Do you think he would negotiate it down? Like if they go to him and say, "Look, Jimbo, come on, man, let's get it to. Can we get to 50? Can we get to 50 million?"
He's made more money than he could ever spend. Why? If
and he doesn't spend it,
but he also
he buys
need
ranches.
To. He does buy ranches.
Yeah, that's true.
Multiple ranches.
But he doesn't have to. He can say, "No, I want my 75 million."
This is going to get ugly for him, man. All those guys, those fans, I was going to call them cultists. That's going to get weird for him. They're the kind of guys that walk into offices and have conversations unannounced. Yeah. And I don't mean like to harm him, but just to berate him.
And the media there's going after him now, which is
it's about
funny.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, they all thought we were crazy.
Yes.
We were all a-holes and jealous.
We're all butthurt.
He's living rent-free in our heads.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? We were right? Yeah, there you go. Have fun with that. Fellas, writes Josh, how big is it that Lakewood legend appears to be turning the corner? Yes, he does.
2 span.
That's 2 games in a row that Span, and as he notes, Spawn, according to Chris Fowler, has made big plays prior to garbage time. How many DCs are going to look at film of him and say, well, this is who you bring in when 4 or 14 are tired. I can't catch a break.
So that's what the BC coach, I watched his, what is it, Heffley,
who's about to be fired himself.
I watched his press conference.
Which is weird because he seems like a good guy. And
I think he's actually a good coach.
Yeah.
He just can't get
But he talked about the depth that Florida State has on the defensive line, and then he brought up the receivers. He's like, they take guys out, and then they bring in guys that are as tall and fast as the other guys.
That had to be...
So watching Deuce Span and being like, well, who is this?
I was going to say, when 21 and 5 make those catches in the first quarter, you got to be thinking, man, come on. What are we doing here?
I've always championed my Lakewood guy, but I got to tell you, man, Williamson making that catch and looking athletic as hell. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's a really big development because God forbid Johnny has something where he's inconsistent to the point where, he's having to work on things. You need somebody else that you can put out there and feel good about. I don't want it to be at his expense. I'm just saying, develop that. more weapons, not less weapons. Right?
Darian's only issue is just getting healthy because if you look at him physically, man, he is an NFL wide receiver.
Well, and you could tell, like, when he finally got healthy last year was the BC game, I think.
They force-fed him the ball.
5 catches for 100 yards. Then on his last catch, he basically essentially breaks his ankle, it looks like, and he's out for the rest of the year until the Oklahoma game, and then he's healthy for the Oklahoma game. Well, they make sure to give him the ball again. Like, they know he's something. And then it was a case this preseason where he just wasn't quite up to what they wanted health-wise, and now he is.
2 different storylines there, which I think are both rewarding for everybody involved. First of all, him getting healthy, catching a touchdown, looking athletic, hopefully stays that way. And then Deuce Spann was so raw. The first time we saw him.
Not like Kenny Shaw, raw.
No, as in can't
raw
play.
like the real definition.
As in we knew we could tell immediately, freak of an athlete. I know he played quarterback at Lakewood. And so, he gets to Illinois and they want to make him a receiver. He and his father don't want that. Then he has 2 catches there. And it's just, Florida State says, you can come, but we want you to play wide receiver. So he gets here. The first day we're all out there to see him. I'm watching closely because I know he's an LHS guy. So I want to see what this is all about. And all I could think about watching him without shoulder pads and all that, it was like how fast he was, how athletic he was. He's tall. He's all those things. And then we see him try to run routes. And you're like, this ain't it. This is going to be a problem. This is going to take some time. But look at the work. Look at the buy-in. And now dude looks like a receiver. Let's go.
Real quick, Zyler in the chat noted that Darion Williamson was announced as a new member of the Battle's End today. That came out today.
Nice.
So we acted quickly there, Ingram. Good work.
Good job.
But on the Deuce Spann thing, what's cool about that is, and again, this is why it is neat that we get to watch practice. Because
is that now the litmus test of when they really think a guy's about to blow up and be a star as the battle's in and out?
Get that man a contract. Let's go.
Yeah. But what's cool about watching this thing with Deuce Spann is when you're that gifted athletically, right? I mean, he is.
I like how you looked at me when you were saying that
because you can relate.
I can absolutely relate. Yeah.
When you're that gifted athletically, a lot of times there's a lot of guys that are athletic like that do not want to put in the time to create themselves as a player, right? Because his whole life, he's just been the fastest guy in the field.
Correct.
And so, I mean, I can think of Tamorian Terry as a guy who never really got better. He was what he was.
Ran that 9 route, baby.
And that was it.
Yeah. That's all Corey had to see.
That's all I needed to see. That's all he could do.
For Deuce Spann to come to Florida State, to never play, a little bit here and there, and then if he becomes like a complete receiver.
Oh, it's going to be exciting.
I mean, it's going to pay off in a big way with his athletic ability.
Also, it's really good news if that happens for Ron Dugans and this offense, all the offensive staff, because what you can tell kids, hey, look, if you buy in, if you're patient, we're not going to give up on you. We're going to teach you. You're going to get better we're not just going to go out and get Keon Coleman, which we will, but you have to be able to handle that and get better along the way. And then you're going to play. And he is. He's playing. He's played twice, 2 games. He's made plays. You're right. It's huge. Chris writes, you'll like this, Corey. Guys, let's enjoy this moment in time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text you like just every third day. Are you appreciating?
You appreciate
this?
what
You
this
appreciate
journey?
what this
you
is?
appreciating this journey?
Things may change in the future, but this is special, and Norvell has had to overcome great adversity to get to this point. Everything from a race relations. Yeah, he's talking about the situation when he first got here with the email.
Oh, the Marvin
Wilson
thing. Oh, yeah.
To COVID, to player sabotage, to structural administration changes, coaches being snarky, Dabo amongst them. It really is amazing, and it really turned around when they were able to land Johnson. Also, I think the team that went out on a road trip to hire Norvell should get a big, a lot of appreciation right about now. They did a good job evaluating that we needed a head coach and didn't need to let the media pressure make the hire. So many good things have happened since then. All right, Chris. Chris is filled with that.
I'm all with you. They were 1 for 2. They're the same people that hired the first guy.
They whiffed terribly on one. Yeah.
We'll give him credit on that one. By the way, real quick, Cottrell also mentioned that the one thing he warned me about watching Clark Cameron is he's the kind of guy I'm going to hate because he's a scrappy white kid.
Oh, well, I knew he was white. I didn't know if he was scrappy or not.
But then I was like, well, I mean, he plays at Montford. So
the other thing I would tell
I
you.
hate the whole team. And they're playing my Cobb Cubs.
There you go.
Well, all my kids went to Cobb, but I'm gonna be a Mustang today.
I appreciate that. And I would also say this though about it. Clark doesn't get by on scrappiness. He's one of the biggest kids out there.
All right.
And an athlete.
Decent athlete.
A better athlete than you think.
Better.
better athlete than you
like
think.
A coach on the field.
Yeah,
a little bit like a coach on the
he's
field.
a better athlete than you
Gets
think.
guys
that
lined
Clark
up,
Cameron.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Hey guys, do you think because the team has so much talent, it could affect the performance of players? Everyone is really trying to make the home run play instead of just making the routine play. No, I don't think so, Tony.
They just won by 53 points, so they're doing okay. And
some people brought up the fact that Jordan threw a lot of deep passes. Mike Norvell said that was by design.
Well, and they did not like the one to Keon on fourth down. It's a little bit underthrown, and it's into double coverage, but it's also Keon Coleman, and he can make that catch. And then Deuce was underthrown, but he could have made that catch. Johnny could have made all four of his catches. Hakeem had a jump ball that he did, a 50-50 ball. They were 0-4 on 50-50 balls, the receivers, which was why I thought that was good today and Tuesday. They did really well at one-on-ones, I thought, which was probably a point to do it like as much as they did today. But the receivers will play better than that. They didn't play all that well.
Jordan will play better than that.
Right.
And I thought
Jordan
Southern Miss's DBs
and they
were good.
still put up, not even counting the second half stuff, they still had 31 points at halftime against, again, a capable-ish team.
I think Jordan's going to have better games as we go along. He has to clean up some of the sloppiness, the underthrown balls, throwing off the back foot, missing some reads. There have been some moments where you're like, because I expect so much of him now that I will nitpick him because he can be great.
Yeah.
And
well, he also, I think he'll be helped if, the catches
catch the
get made
damn
too.
ball would be nice. Yeah, without question. I just almost got, I was like Dorf on golf. Here.
Yeah,
Here we go.
you shrunk. That was great.
I just somehow hit this chair.
That's
Here
a
we go.
recent reference.
You like that?
I mean, you nailed it,
Yeah.
but
It was quick. You see this brain?
Yeah,
How quick that was?
real
It was
quick.
milliseconds. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpers, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff.
Is that what is the pork?
The Bonko Lechong, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All of these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discount, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
This is Tyler from Bear No Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere.
Save big time in the new year and get $1,200 off select new units.
Online at BearNoAC.com.
Keeping you comfortable is what Barry really does go.
Florida license CAC 1860186.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely
Tom said he's playing hit.
We're back. Wow.
And we're back.
Apparently, flooding outside.
It's awful outside, and we had no idea. We walked out a moment ago. I looked out the window. It was pitch black. Trees were sideways. Wind was blowing. Lights started flickering. We came back in here. Next thing I knew, we get hit by lightning, and we're off. But we're back now. Everybody be safe out there. Sorry about that. Weather is what it is. Ira, ask the questions because I can't pull that up just yet.
Yeah, here. So,
all right.
Has the addition and subsequent amazing play? This is from Manuel.
All right.
Manuel. Amazing play of Keon pushed FSU from possible playoff berth to national championship contender.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he's better than we thought. We knew he was good.
Greg in RVA, I guess in Virginia, I believe, says, boys, while I understand and appreciate why Norvell rotated so many players early and often, do you think it caused the disjointed passing game performance?
Well, I mean, anytime you're rotating a ton of people in, you could get an uneven performance. I don't know. I thought that I think Southern Miss actually covered well. You brought that up earlier. I was kind of impressed.
Their DBs played well.
They competed. Yeah, a lot better than the LSU guys did on the jump balls for sure.
His mic is messed up. Are you using the correct mic?
I mean, I didn't just bring in my own.
All right, something's going on with your processor,
I'm not
buddy.
hearing you.
Yeah,
I mean, I hear you, but because I'm in here.
Yeah, I can hear
well,
you.
Here we go.
Yeah, now it's working.
Oh, okay.
Now,
all right.
What in the world is going on here?
Perfect.
I thought it was a little herky-jerky. That's why I complained about how they're still not clean yet. But they're going to get there. I do believe that.
So it's early, but who cares? I know how Jeff feels. How is everyone else feeling about Georgia staying number 1 the whole season and FSU moving to number 2 at the highest? So we get to go to Pasadena again because Georgia will get the Sugar Bowl spot.
It's
a fair question.
I'm down with that.
I am not.
I know you're not, but I'm going to Pasadena, baby.
No.
That's going to be fun as hell.
Again, that's not great because you're asking Florida State fans to travel 3,000 miles and spend all that money.
That's fine.
For a game that doesn't win a championship. Even if you win the game, you've got to go to Houston.
Rose Bowl.
But you got to go to Houston 9 days later. Who has the money to go to Pasadena then Houston?
It's a choice. You're right. It's tough.
So that's hard. I mean, you're doing it selfishly because you will be paid to go.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about because I relate to the fans a lot more than you two guys.
I don't think that's
clearly.
True.
Man of the people.
But the common fan would love to go to a playoff game, but they can't if they want to go to a playoff game and the national championship game. That's a lot to ask to go to
Georgia fans had to do last year and the year before. That's what Bama fans have had to do. That's just the way it works.
Well,
you can Georgia
Georgia's first playoff game was in Atlanta. And then they had to. This is 2 long trips. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it's not ideal, but it's nobody's fault, and that's the way the system's set up. And you can pick one or the other, or both.
I think you pick. My thought is you never go to the playoff game. You don't want to go to the semifinal game because if they win, you're going to want to be in Houston.
As a fan, you are correct. If
they lose, you don't want to be there anyway. So that's my thought.
Or if the game is, let's just say for some reason you had an affinity for one of the other locations, and you've always wanted to go. Somebody could be like, I've always wanted to go to Los Angeles. This is going to be my one chance. I missed it the last time. I'm going to go.
That's true.
Something like that. But,
what a conversation to be having. What a conversation to be having, Ira.
2 games in. Might be getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Right.
That was from Chris, by the way. Timmy asks, let me go to
you skipping Timmy.
I don't like Ira in this role at all. This does not fit him.
Rob asks, which team is Mike most excited to run up the score on? # get you some. Clemson. I thought it was interesting that the Southern Miss coach and he are like good friends. They coach together. Norvell's calling onside kicks.
Yeah. Tate's throwing balls when they're up by 50.
At least it was early. The onside kick was early.
Yeah, that's true.
You could justify it. And you could come across the field afterwards, shake hands, go, got to clean up that special team.
Yeah.
You left too much on film.
We noticed that on film.
I did it so you would know before you get in the conference.
You got a chance to win your conference. You weren't going to win this game. I did you a favor.
Yeah. Now you know. Button that up.
Yeah. Get it cleaned up.
What Timmy asked was, which team do you think Keon could be wide receiver 1 on, Georgia or Bama? Could he be wide receiver 1 at Georgia or Bama?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah. Yeah. He'd be the best receiver on either one of those.
He's a freak. Ryan writes.
There we go.
Yeah, not sure. It popped up for me, and I caught up to where you were. Yeah. He was ready. Not sure if it was visible to you guys in person or if it was the LED lights, but did you notice how visibly tired, sweaty the players looked? More than usual. I've watched the Noles a lot, And Travis specifically looked exhausted, and it seemed especially noticeable on many of the players. He's not wrong. I said something.
Really? On the TV broadcast?
Yeah, you can, when you go back and watch.
It's so lit up that you can see him huffing and puffing in the sweat.
And they look just drenched. I actually, you're going to be shocked. I made an excuse for Johnny Wilson. When everybody was mad, I was like, well, it's slippery. He's soaking wet, guys. I don't know what's going on down on the field. I'm not even kidding.
Well, it was humid.
It might have been unusually humid because
it was.
Alex Atkins made the comment that Darius Washington's bad snap,
it
was because the ball got sweaty.
I think it was. And first of all, in the stands, I was complaining about the humidity, but I complain a lot. So I thought, well, maybe it's just me. But no, they looked, when I went back and watched it again, they looked like I felt.
Yeah. You know who else complained about the committee was our friend Stephanie. I guess she's my fiance, but she's y'all's friend.
Right.
I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but she was a golden greeter at the game on, the women that have the vests and hold the.
I was unaware that she was a golden greeter.
Because she's in the extra point club, which is, the lady club.
Yeah.
Usually they're a bit older than Stephanie, but the point being that she said it was miserable out there.
It was.
And she was just standing there. And it was like 6:30. I don't know why it didn't feel that humid when we were walking.
In
but
our
we didn't have to
press
stand
box.
out there. Yeah, in our press box.
I thought it was awful. I thought it was awful.
No, I did sweat my
I
off
did too.
walking
I was
from
wearing
Indigo
jeans.
to the wearing jeans. Was
She
not
did
great.
say some of the questions you get about, can you tell me where gate D is? And she's like, if you turn to your right and look at the stadium, it's right there in big letters.
But we don't want sarcasm from our greeters at the stadium.
No,
I feel like you might.
No, you can't do that job. You got to understand you're dealing with the general public.
We don't know anything.
That was fun. Never been to a Clemson game. This is from Gil. And every time I think of Gil, I think of two Gils, and Steve Martin comes to mind as Gil in his best friend. That was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I'm now hoping we're off the air. I hope
Gil.
we're not really back on the air now that
But
we've had these last
also,
4
not
minutes.
only that Gil, but there's another Gil when he's the father of the kid who can't catch the ball in baseball. Remember that?
Yeah, Parenthood.
Another Gil was a guy that had the exercise show on ESPN that they used to have back in the day.
That's right.
What's going on?
That's Gil Hodges. All right, here we go. We're rolling on Big River. Never been to a Clemson game. I figured this was the year to go. Can you believe we just named 4 Gils? We can't name a Black Jerry.
We can now. We won't
know
make
there's
that mistake
thousands
again.
of them. They're everywhere. Black Jerrys are all around us, but we couldn't name them that day.
I know.
We just rattled off Gil like it was so common.
Name a Black Gil.
That's
Harmon Gilliam.
Gilbert Edmond. Does he count?
Is he Gil?
I bet people call him Gil.
There's got to be a Gil. Johnny Gill?
Johnny Gill.
You got to give me some Johnny Gill. That was good. He started laughing before I said it. So this guy, Gil, has never been to a Clemson game before. I figured this was the year to go. Still trying to convince the wife to make the 6-hour drive there and back. Dog boarding is reserved. Hotel booked in Greenville for Friday and Saturday. Now that it's a nooner, should I book in Atlanta instead?
I've always done Atlanta. I know Greenville's cool.
I like Greenville, actually.
Well, the thing is, Greenville, the whole point is like we usually have to get back on Sunday to work.
But if you don't,
and so if you don't, Greenville's
I got a question.
But
Check
also
and see if the minor league
Atlanta's
team's playing.
You got to leave it 2 hours. It's an hour and a half away. So
what? Atlanta?
Yeah. So like you have to get up at 7 a.m. to make sure you're at Clemson in time for a noon game. If you're in Greenville, it's a lot shorter drive, obviously, because it's not going to be easy getting to that game, man. It is going to be a nightmare getting into that stadium.
So,
but I guess his point is after the game, he wouldn't. You want to drive up to Greenville and spend the whole day in Greenville when you could just drive home?
Yeah, but you're not going to get home. Oh, yeah, no.
Because the game's going to be over at 4.
Let Gil decide.
Okay, Gil, that's on you, buddy. That's on you. We're not
I would
here
check and see if the minor league team's playing because the replica of Fenway Park is where they play there in Greenville.
Yeah, Greenville's a nice little town.
It's a cool little town, yeah. ESPN Game Day will choose Ohio State at Notre Dame for September 23rd since ABC will have FSU Clemson at noon.
Preston brought up Gilbert Arenas.
Nah, but he's not Gil.
He's not a Gil. Nobody knows him as Gil.
Could be Gil.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. So could Johnny Gill.
Gilbert Edmond. I mean, there's plenty of
Gilbert
Gilberts.
Edmond.
Yeah, well, I said him already. You didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I acknowledged it.
Thank you.
We're gonna the show's gonna end. We're gonna be like Hall of Famer Gil such and such, and we're gonna be like son of a. ESPN Game Day will choose Ohio State at Notre Dame for the 23rd, since ABC will have FSU Clemson at noon. What games are most likely FSU to host now for Game Day? Duke, Miami, or no game day for 2023?
Well, I would say it's probably still likely that it's no game day, but Miami looking like that, being ranked, not having a hard schedule, obviously. If they can play like that offensively, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're undefeated in top 10 in the country when they come to Doak. It'll be FSU Miami all over again in prime time if the Noles take care of business.
So there's 3 good ones in a row here, and I think they're all kind of fun. Nola Knowles writes, I'm riding with Johnny Wilson, but I do wonder how in the world do you fix the drops? He has hands like an outfielder's glove. By
the way, his drops on Saturday were not normal Johnny drops because they were the ground. He had caught them and the ground knocked it loose.
It wasn't like he swatted them down.
Yeah, he didn't.
No, they weren't the normal easy right here in your hands.
He had them and then they fell out after
Bottom
he hit
line
the
is
ground.
he's got to catch more of these.
Yes.
So how do you fix that? I don't know. I mean, he practices hard. I'm sure they're working with him on
And
it.
he was awesome today.
He also knows it's a thing he has to work on. He's acknowledged it. So I don't know.
And you're going to live with it.
I'm certain they're putting in the work, I'm sure they are. Did the game feel like the 90s teams when even the third string was scoring on Southern Miss? It did feel like that. Very much felt like that.
Where it felt like almost the only way you're not going to score is if you do what you did on that last drive. I remember Florida State at times would just run 3 fullback dives because they didn't want to score 100 points.
Yeah. Burke wants to know, who do we play in the ACC championship game? Looking like Miami.
A rematch. I think
North Carolina did win. It was double overtime to App State, but they did win.
Yeah, I haven't liked the way their offense is. It's not really clicking, and I think that kid was going to probably be their best receiver, right? And
yeah,
he can't even
that was
play.
Problematic.
So and look, we'll see about Clemson, gang.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on Clemson.
But if Florida State beats Clemson, then they're going to be.
They have 2 losses, so that's going to be tough. Yeah, if Florida State beats Clemson, then Clemson's got to. Well,
Clemson's done.
They're done.
They're done
essentially.
Yeah.
So it could be
Duke
probably
would have to
Miami
lose 3.
Louisville, or Duke.
Can you imagine if it was Duke? That seems anticlimactic. Somebody else needs to play.
Well, they would have the home field advantage though, being so close to Duke. That place would be overflowing with Duke fans.
Tom writes 66-13 while playing a C- game on a short week. Not much to complain about, other than to say more FSU marching Chiefs, please. Less piped in music at Doak. Feels less collegial and more like an NBA game.
Tell them, Tom. Tell them. Let them know. Let your voice ring out from the mountaintops. And by the way, the defense did not play a C- game.
No,
the defense was awesome.
Yeah, the defense was awesome.
Sometimes we conflate the overall performance of a team with the offense. That defense on a short week was dialed in, gave up 1 play the whole first half. They were great.
Absolutely. Ira, what's your favorite city in Clay County, and why is it Keystone Heights?
Oh, because I made fun of Keystone Heights last week. So I think it was him called me out on Twitter about it. No harm to Keystone Heights. We love Keystone Heights. It was just the first small town I could think of.
There it is. Jason writes, who scores more touchdowns by the end of the season? Keon currently has 4. Trey currently has 3.
I'm gonna say Keon.
I'm gonna say Trey.
I'm gonna say Trey, but Keon, it's phenomenal. He's just phenomenal. It's cool to watch too.
It was cool they gave him the touchdown play, his touchdown play right after the leapy leap.
Yeah.
So he had a catch today at practice where he was streaking, got behind the defense, and just the way he adjusted the ball, like he kind of looks over his right shoulder and it was kind of a little bit more, and he just like so smoothly made the catch. And Norvell, even when Norvell watched it back on the replay, you could tell he was impressed by it too. I mean, the guy is just smooth.
He's a joy to watch. It'll be watching him on Sundays. It's cool. Yeah. Seminole Headlines has to take a quick break, even though we had the one there, but we're behind. So we'll come back, wrap up the show with a few more questions, and we'll call it a day. Stay with.
Your local news now.
A woman was shot dead in Northwest Tallahassee Monday afternoon. She was shot in the Griffin Heights area just before 4 p.m., according to police. She was then transported to a hospital where she died from her injuries. The Tallahassee Police Department is investigating the shooting, which took place at Springfield Apartments, as a homicide. The shooting took place less than a mile from John G. Riley Elementary School. Police did not provide any information on if they have identified a suspect or if there is a threat to the community. Bainbridge Public Safety was recently awarded over $260,000 in grants from FEMA. The grant will be used for the purchase of 30 self-contained breathing apparatuses and a fill station to fill those bottles, and an air compressor cascade system with 6,000 psi high-pressure 4-bank bottle storage. Without this vital equipment, the firefighters' ability to search for life in a fire or extinguish the fire will be diminished. The grant will allow the fire department to replace outdated equipment. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Scattered thunderstorms likely this afternoon, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 92, southwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight. Scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows around 72. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely. 92. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
Attention radio listeners, this is a Foodies Takeout and Delivery new restaurant alert. Now available for takeout and delivery from foodiestakeout.com. The Hawthorne Bistro, Jerry's Love on a Plate, Coach's Pizza, Munchie's Pizza, Red Eye Coffee, Lofty Pursuits, OG Subs, Dave's Pizza Garage, Sakura Sushi, and many more. Find a complete list of locally owned restaurants offering takeout and delivery at foodiestakeout.com. That's foodiestakeout.com. Don't just shop local, order local.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
As a bettor, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. NFL, college football, and brand new cash-out system give you options to bet and win all season long. First two legs of your parlay hit. Cash out early, use the funds on another bet, or let it ride for the chance to win an even bigger parlay. Join the MyBookie family for an entire season filled with odds, boosted, free bets, super contests. The season has MyBookie a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quick. Use promo code WARCHANT or deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. Bet your deposit amount once, and you're ready to cash out at any point. Again, that's promo code WARCHANT to claim your cash deposit bonus. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Boom.
Hey, good
Well
stuff.
done.
There
Good
we go,
stuff.
guys. There we
Miami
go.
does play North Carolina and Clemson back-to-back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Easiest thing might be to move the game. We've already addressed that. Squiggly writes, who's getting into the college football playoff if each of the Power Five has an undefeated victor? So say it's Southern Cal, Texas, FSU, Michigan are all undefeated, but the SEC champion has a loss.
Well, then the SEC's out.
And the SEC doesn't look so good right about now.
I was going to say, Alabama lost to a non-conference team. LSU lost badly to a non-conference team. So
Blown out.
Yeah. So if Georgia has a loss, then yeah.
By the way, also just take a look around. I mean, you got Mississippi State, you got Ole Miss struggling to beat Tulane with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
You had
Auburn barely beating Cal.
14-10.
Yeah, that would have been a big win for the ACC.
It's a bad league. I think we should reconsider trying to get into the league.
Exactly.
We need to move it along. So Clemson already lost to Duke. If FSU wins against them, that'll be 2 losses. They're not likely a candidate at that point. We just addressed this. If not them, who? I don't worry about these things as much. Let them all fight it out while we remain undefeated.
Just keep winning.
Yeah, just keep
winning.
on
Hey,
winning.
and you know what? Take care of business this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Josh,
you've had some tough games in Boston now.
Stop.
I'm not saying they're a problem.
Okay, thank you.
But
stop short of that, please.
I mean, look, they held Holy Cross to 28.
I had forgotten about the officiating from 2 years ago.
Oh,
that
my
was
goodness
unbelievable.
gracious.
It was crazy.
Single-handedly trying to keep them in the game. They were like Jeff Sims, only as officials. It was unbelievable. This one's for Ira, since it is on Twitter after all. Could Ira please give us his scouting report of number 18 on defense? Dude is going to be a player, and I would love to hear Ira's analysis of his play.
Wonder why that is.
That's pretty funny.
The thing about Blake Nicholson, guys, is he's faster than you think.
Yeah, he is. He is a good athlete.
And seems kind of like a coach on the field.
Well, he's got
gritty.
Intellect for days.
Yeah.
What for?
A little bit more athletic than you realize.
Yeah.
But
in addition to quick.
Legitimately, he looks like he could be a really good player. That's been impressive what he's done the last 2 or 3 weeks, because he really has come on. And Fuller said that. He said nobody's improved more on the team, or at least linebacker-wise, since Nicholson, since they got back from Jacksonville. Like, he's really kind of expedited his growth.
What's going to happen when the Shipley kid runs into Fisk or Blake Nicholson? Like the world's just going to explode.
Well, that's weird because you do like Fisk.
I do like Fisk
because he's nasty.
Explain that.
He's nasty.
He's not undersized. I think that's the undersized.
Yeah, it's the overachieving scrappy white guy that you.
Especially wide receivers, I think. You're going to have a tough time with Fryer next year. You're going to have a tough time liking him.
I'm good.
Gentlemen, best show on the radio. Thanks for all of the information you provide us, Noles. Do you think if Johnny Wilson ditched the gloves, it would help him?
Don't know. Again.
Probably not. I don't think that listen, I had to buy gloves for my boys. Back in the day, we didn't wear gloves. A lot of people didn't wear gloves.
Oh, you were no Leary.
And also, by the way, the gloves weren't like they are today.
It's
I can't
crazy.
believe
it's
what they
crazy
let kids
with
wear
the gloves.
now.
The gloves
it's
are nuts.
not even.
Yeah.
It's like. Does somebody have good hands, or is it the gloves?
They're essentially wearing baseball.
Yeah.
They're wearing catcher's mitts.
Have you ever put them on?
Yeah.
And just had somebody you can one hand full-size footballs like rather easily.
Yeah,
it's nice.
That's why Odell's catch he made, which was an incredible catch, it was also with one of those gloves. So it wasn't like old Bolitnikoff making a catch back in the day.
Imagine if they did receivers like they do pitchers now.
Oh yeah,
like after every catcher, check their gloves.
Sir, you're out of here.
How much stickum do you have on this glove?
Yeah. Last question. This one comes from Logan. We have less than a minute and a half. A lot of folks are concerned about Johnny, but what's up with Trey Benson? He had some explosives last week. That was nice, but Toafili has looked better so far. Still waiting for Trey to hit the hole like he's supposed to. Okay, so Logan's going.
I agree. I don't disagree with that though. I think he, obviously, is a little. The one run that I loved from Trey was the fourth down run.
Yeah,
because he hit it.
Oh, and he hit it hard.
Yeah, but it wasn't a huge hole that he hit.
No,
he's
so big that who wants to tackle that running that hard?
Well, that's why you kind of want him to do it more than just on 4th and 1. Like have that mindset the whole time.
Tom and I have talked about this real quick. I want to get your thoughts on this theory. Like he's trying to incorporate all the things they talked to him about at the end of last year, which was you had a great season, but you left a ton of yards out on the field, and here's why. And he's trying, I think, to be more patient and incorporate.
Well, I
that
say
stuff.
don't do that. Don't try to be. Just run hard, big dog. Because Rodney Hill runs hard when he gets it. Toafili's running hard when he gets it, and Lord knows Keziah does too. Like,
yeah, but Toafili's been smart too. He kind of picks and plods.
But like different running backs like different styles too. Yeah. And like I remember just Leon back in the day he hated the toss sweep.
He was my man.
But he hated the toss sweep, and they would call the toss sweep, and you get mad. It's just I think Trey. I think he's trying. To your point, I think he's trying to do what they want him to do, but may want to stick to what he does better.
Run it downhill, baby.
Shout out, by the way, to Toafili.
10 seconds.
He just makes plays.
He does.
LT is a good football player.
Playing really well. For Ira and Corey, I'm Jeff. Thanks so much, guys. We really appreciate you. Be well. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than